is Tanner Nada. The topic I've chosen today is green technology and its effect on the future. While driving along a familiar highway the other day, Pat 6 Highway just north of Casper, I looked to the left and saw an unfamiliar sight. Giant wind turbines, all cluttered up in a mess. They're everywhere. Big, giant structures everywhere you see. No longer, when you look across the Wyoming landscape, you see nothing but open pastures, where you see these giant wind turbines, and half of them aren't even spinning. Over the past couple of years, green technology has hit America with a sudden rush. Everybody's got the fever of saving the environment and using green technology. It's hit us like an epidemic. Not only do you see these giant wind turbines all across the pastures, but you also see them in everybody's backyards, powering people's houses for their own energy. So how's it grown the past 3 years? Well, wind only produces 1.5% of the world's electricity. But over the past 3 years, the wind turbines have doubled and almost tripled. Why does this happen? Because we seem to believe that if you spend millions of dollars on these wind turbines to produce more electricity, that we should be a lot better off. Like Spain and Denmark and Portugal, who produce up to 11% of their country's electricity. Or we spend millions of dollars for wind turbines and only get 11% of our nation's electricity. Seems like pretty small numbers to me. So here's the question. How does it work? It's quite a simple concept, really. When the wind blows, the blades spin, which rotates magnets, which equals electricity. Here's the catch, though. What happens when the wind doesn't blow? I know it seems absurd to say that the wind will stop in Wyoming because it always seems to be blowing. But how many of you have been up the Casper direction or any place in the state and see those wind turbines not move a single inch? I know I've seen a lot in the summertime or sometimes in the fall where the blades aren't spinning at all and we're not making any electricity. So what does happen when the wind stops? Well, every wind turbine has a motor generator. They have to keep those running to keep electricity going. So when the wind stops and the blades can no longer make electricity go in the motor generator, we have to keep putting gas in to keep everything going. So is green technology and the windmills in our future? Is it in Wyoming's future? I say no. After talking to a state legislator the other day, he had an interesting concept. He said in 10 years, all these wind turbines, they'll be gone. I couldn't help but ask, but why would he say that? It seems to be a big rage all of a sudden. He says when the wind stops, as I already talked about, we have to keep putting gas into it. So in the market, eventually we're going to come to a standstill where we're spending millions of dollars on more windmills and we're keeping putting gas into it. Eventually we're just at a standstill and they'll be worthless. He also says that the only reason Wyoming has these giant turbines is because that's the only reason California will buy electricity from us. He tells me that according to Pacific Power, they had to put wind turbines to produce some of the electricity. And California buys electricity from Pacific Power. I thought that was kind of outlandish, but then I thought back, why does Wyoming have so many of these? We're not polluting the air ozone. We don't have pollution. We're the smallest populated state in America. And then we have California, which is one of the most populated. And when I made a trip back there a couple summers ago, I didn't see a single wind turbine. All of a sudden, things started to fit up a little better. Also, with costs and everything, we also have to look at eminent domain. All of a sudden, eminent domain has become a big deal in Wyoming. Instead of fearing the government will come take your land for railroads or airports, they now come and put up 30 or 40 giant windmills, and you make a small percentage of that electricity that comes in. Not only do you get paid very little, but having windmills on your place decreases the property value. And not only yours, but also your neighbors across the fence. Nobody wants to buy a piece of acreage with nothing but eyesores on it, with giant wind turbines. So we're spending millions of dollars, we're using eminent domain, we're tearing apart pastures, and farmers and ranchers are making very little money off it. So in conclusion, green technology works, and sometimes it works well, but is it worth the cost of spending so much money and ruining some of our agricultural economy? Yes, I say green technology is in our future, but is it right now with windmills? No. But someday, green technology will be a big part, and it'll also help the agricultural world and people across the country. Thank you.
You mentioned wind turbines as part of green technology, which they are,
Yeah.
but what are some other examples of green technology?
Well, there's also solar, which I have to say, the solar isn't working very well. The middle school does solar powered, and it works great. And there's also something that doesn't affect farming so much. There's the turbines that go underwater. I'm struggling for the actual vocab word of it.
Hydroelectric.
Yeah. And that spins the turbines under there to get electricity. And then there's also places where you can use the water running through a dam and use energy from the water. Now, I haven't seen very many examples of those, having besides solar energy. What I figured it's best to talk about the windmills because that's affecting us the most.
Which is worse, a large wind farm coming in or individual landowners putting up a single turbine or a single solar panel? Is there a better or worse?
Yeah, I would have to say that an individual bringing in a smaller wind turbine is a lot better because one, they get to choose where they put it, and two, the big turbines put out very little power as it is. You put a little one in, it might power your bathroom. So there's going to be a little less effect, and they get to choose where they put it. It's not going to destroy pastures and land.
Are there any government incentives that you're aware of for these green technologies?
Government incentives, I'm sure I have faith in our federal government that they're continuing working just like we continue to work all these years. Technology will continue to grow, but I'm starting to wonder, they're thinking like I mentioned, the turbines underwater. That was a new concept to me, and maybe that'll catch on. The wind turbines will go away, or maybe they're going with better ideas for solar energy. The possibilities are there. They come with time and the future.
What are the advantages of wind energy in comparison to other energy sources?
Wind energy is, they say, the cleanest form of energy that we have. It's better than any fossil fuels. It's better than running the water through. It's the cleanest form we have. And they say that it takes up less space, which I can say that is true. It will take up less space until you put 40 or 50 all in the same clump. So it's at the top end for good advantages of it too.
Is global warming real or is it a hoax?
If you're asking my personal opinion, I think it's completely false. I mean, we live in Wyoming. It's March, and we get a big foot of snow, and then in November it could be 70 degrees. I don't know. I personally say that global warming is a hoax. But then again, I also have to say that you step anywhere outside of the state, it's a whole different world. You go to California, back east, south, the pollution is real. Is global warming real? I haven't seen its effects in Wyoming.
So should we start tearing down windmills, sell them for scrap, and keep digging coal, keep stoking those coal-fired power plants?
If you ask my opinion, Wyoming is the top producer of coal. That's what we're good at, and we're making little money on the wind turbines. We're not in the hole by all means as far as the budget goes, but why not use the resources we're good at using?
Do you know or have any idea who the companies are or who owns these wind turbines that have gone up all around Wyoming?
As I said, Pacific Power has a big part of that. They were ordered to put those up as a small percentage of their electricity. And as far as other companies, that's Pacific Power is the main one in Wyoming that I know. tag on the sciences and stuff, but as I said, there's a motor generator coming down, and that feeds through a line, and the line goes to a bigger hub. Eventually, a lot of energy is transported through lines, and somehow it ends up in California. Like I said, I'm not quite sure on the engineering part of that.
Was that cost effective?
I would assume so. I've been told that, like I said, every generator has a line coming down, but instead of grouping all the lines together in one big clump from these wind farms, we found them separate. So I would say HV cost gets more money.